Welcome back to JayFix. Today I have a 2010 Mitsubishi Triton with an interesting problem. The handbrake lever here is not operational and it's really bent up for some reason. I'm not sure why, but we're here to replace it. So if that sounds like something you'd be interested in, stay tuned. So there's 4 screws from what I understand to take out that. This is the handbrake release cable here, and behind that there are 2 screws as well, and there's a screw just there as well. And we'll get those out and see if we can get the dash apart. Righto, so I've taken those 4 screws out. It's actually released that hood release thing. It used to sit up there. Once you take 2 screws out, it just comes out. So fuse box cover, I suppose that'll just come out for me. Anyway, it doesn't really matter. In theory, we should be able to just unclip this now, assuming I've got everything. Oh, okay, that come out. Alright, so it looks like on the top there, it's just clipped in, and the screws that are on the bottom hold it in the bottom there, so we'll just get rid of that. For those that are interested, that is the genuine Mitsubishi part number for the handbrake. Now I'm just having a bit of a look at this. It's actually been broken off from what I can tell, just there. So I think someone's come in here and have been putting weight or something on that to get into the car or something. I just don't get it. But anyway, in theory, I reckon that should come out. Bear with me, I'm going to get that out. Well, okay, so we've got an electrical connection here for the switch for the handbrake that we need to disconnect. So we'll go do that now. It is. There's the switch. I'll get my hands out of the way, and you just follow the wire up and disconnect it there. Okay, so it's one of those little plastic clips that you just push in with your thumbnail or whatever, and then just pull it out. It's pretty simple. So that's disconnected now. The bolts that hold this on are a 12mm. There are 2 screws here that you won't miss them anyway, and there's 2 screws down the back. So let's get those out and see what happens. Right, you can't really stuff this up. The 2 bolts, they go up on top here, and the 2 nuts go onto the firewall, so you can't really stuff that up. Everything else is the same, so. Okay, so when you get that last screw out, it looks like it's dropped down a little bit, so we'll just wiggle that out. Okay, might need to do a bit more investigating because the bolts are out. It's all come out except I can't see the actual cable. So I thought the cable wasn't connected to it, but there is something there that I'm going to have to investigate. We'll be back. Okay, I'm trying my best to get you in there as best as possible. I can barely see in there myself, let alone getting a camera in there. But I need to sort of get in around that area. release whatever's holding that in. Okay, so I've had a bit of a harder look at this, and I've realised that there is a circlip holding the cable that goes underneath the car onto this handbrake assembly. So what I did, I realised I'm going to need a new cable anyway, so I've got the handbrake assembly and new cable that goes underneath the car. If you guys are curious at all, that is the part number there from Mitsubishi. And what we're going to do is start at underneath the car with this new cable and work our way through up and through the firewall and up to here. So let's go into the car and make a start on that. See you there. Okay, so here we are underneath the car. This is the handbrake assembly that connects into two wires for each wheel, two cables I should say. So what we need to do is disconnect the cable off that arm that's there. You can see it there. The cable runs down and it's got a clip holding it on just down here. And then when we go further down, which I'll show you in a bit more detail, there's another bolt holding it on. So let's get in and get these disconnected and see how we go. Okay, so this is the splitter arm that I was talking about that diverts to each wheel. What we need to do is get this out. There is a little groove in the top there that you can slot this out. You just need to get that and wiggle it out. It's pretty easy to get out, so just let that back slowly, and that's the first part of the cable done. Then we've got to try and get this clip down here. So I've got a screwdriver for that, but we'll see how we go. Okay, so that's that one out. Put that aside. We should be able to just slot this out now. There we go. It's just a bit of fiddling around, but we've got that out. So we just need to move down further and catch this bolt here and get that off so we can continue. Righto, so the bolt that we have to take out is a 12mm. Just take that out and we'll be back. Golden rule, always put your bolt or your nut back on where possible, that way you don't lose them. Righto, so that's got a bracket on there we're going to have to take off. I should have put that bracket on there with the bolt, but anyway, keep that in mind. So we just need to keep following this up. I think we need to go into the car now, into the firewall, and follow this up and see what we're doing. So let's go have a look. Okay, so we're back here at the in the passenger seat here, where the cable comes through the firewall. I don't know why they've done it like that, but anyway. So what we're going to do basically is get this. It's all disconnected from down below, and we're just going to get underneath and then push it up and push it through. See if we can get it to come through here, through to the driver's side, where we'll just pull that whole handbrake mechanism out with the cable attached. Fingers crossed that will work. So let's get started on that. Okay, that's come out pretty easy now. It's just fits in between those two into the firewall. So bear with me, I'll move the camera and we'll go around the other side and see if we can just pull this through. Righto, so let's just try and wiggle this out of here as best as we can and hope that it all just comes out. So far so good, but I think we're going to get snagged on the rubber grommet, but we'll soon see. We'll just keep going as far as we can. Bear with me, sorry about the camera work guys. Okay. Okay, yeah, so I can just see through here that is getting caught on that, so I'm just going to have to go around and try and unsnag that and feed it through. Beauty, look at that, we've got it straight through. It is a very tight fit, guys, but you can get it. So just keep pulling that through now, and we shouldn't have any trouble getting the rest of it through. With a bit of luck. There is another rubber thing there that we need to deal with, but it's getting stuck on there too. Ah, there we go. You know, it might pay too, before doing this, just to spray this whole thing with a bit of WD-40 just to help it glide through, because that was the main problem. It is a tight fit, but I reckon if it had some lubrication on there, that would come out a lot easier. So there we go. Okay, so I've got the new part here, and I'm just going to do a side-by-side comparison just to see whether we've got the right part, which I'm sure we have, but everything looks good there. And if you remember back, I was talking about the clip that was holding in the cable, and if you have a look down in there, if I can get you in there, you can actually see there's a circlip in there and the busted cable. So we need to get the new part and get all the things together, and we're good to go. So let's do that. Okay, so we've got this end here which has got all the rubber stuff on it, which I don't really want to try and feed through that middle console. So what we're going to do is go from the other end and just feed that through to the driver's side, and we'll go from there. It'll be a lot easier, I think. Okay. Just take your time with this and make sure that everything goes where it's supposed to go. It helps too if you've got a friend to give you a hand. Right, I think we've got that. So if we pull that right through, right up to here, that in theory should give us enough cable on the other side to take that circlip out of the old one and put our new handbrake onto the cable. So let's go do that. Okay, so there's a bit better view of that circlip that we need to get out. So a flathead screwdriver or something like that should get it out. Oh, there we go. Right, that's all we need off that. The rest can go in the garbage. Okay, we'll be back. Okay, so here is the new handbrake mechanism. Now if you have a look, this is where the circlip and the cable actually go in. It wraps around this wheel here, which in turn goes through this pipe. Now in order to get the cable in, you've actually got to feed it through all that, around that wheel and through this pipe right up to here. But if you notice, you can't quite get that groove right there to line up. So in order to do that, you've actually got to take it right out there so you can get the cable in. like that, and once you go back in, it's locked in, if that makes any sort of sense. So let's try and do that. Righto, so we just had to pull this pin out. I didn't realise that you couldn't get that cable over the wheel without pulling this wheel out. So it's just a matter of pulling that pin, this pin out, adjusting the wheel so you can get that cable in there. That part done. Now just feed that cable down until we get enough out. We can line this up and get it in. Okay, that's the cable in. Righto, so I've fed this through as much as I need to for the meantime, but keep in mind when you are feeding it through, back through here into the firewall, the other side, make sure it goes back down through the firewall, because you don't want to feed it through too far. You might kink the cable and then you'll be in all sorts of trouble. So just keep an eye on that. It's a bit hard with one person, but if you've got someone to help you, it's even better. Basically now what we've got to do is a reversal of what we did before, which was to put those two bolts in and the two nuts and the electrical connection right here. And then once it's all back together, we'll go back and have a look at it and see if the handbrake works, because we might need to adjust it yet, so stay tuned for a bit more. So this is the old cable that we've just pulled out. And I don't know if you remember, but we pulled a little bracket off underneath with the bolt that was holding the cable on underneath on the chassis, I think it was. When reinstalling that, I'm going to use, so there's a bit of a witness mark here from where that bracket was. So we're going to try and measure or get it as close to this, and see if we have any luck with the adjustment. Hopefully everything works out. If not, we'll just adjust it. So let's try that. Okay, so while we're under the car, I've got everything hooked up, ready to go. I've put the new cable onto this adjustment arm here, or tension arm, or I suppose you'd call it. The tension looks good, but you might want to just leave the bracket bolt there until you're ready to go. Then just tighten it down when you've got everything ready to go. But anyway, apart from that, we're pretty much done. I'll see you up in the car, so to give a bit of a test run. It's a bit of a test run, see what we got going on here. Well, that works. Released. On. That looks good. Okay, so we're back up here in the cabin. I've gone and put that bracket bolt in underneath the car and tightened it down, because it didn't really need any adjustment anyway. And I've also gone and put everything back in here, the dash and all that, and I've also given it a good clean too. So the only thing left to do is just to give it a bit of a quick test. I'm sure it's going to be fine, but we'll just drive down the driveway and get a bit of speed up. Whoops, I hope I let the handbrake off. Let the handbrake off, go down, put your clutch in, and yeah, that's working fine. And in fact, that's working absolutely beautifully. So that's it, guys. So if you found that interesting at all, give us a like, subscribe, and feel free to comment too. I love your comments. So I'll see you next time. JayFix.